Hello, no video on this one, just pictures. Save a bit of time, won't it? A couple of months ago I swapped out the control board on my HICTOP 11, which I built in January 2016, and I posted all the videos of the build on it, so check that out. I wasn't having any problems. I just thought it might be a good idea to change the board for one that used steppers and get the benefit of stealth chop. On YouTube it seems it's a nice thing to do, so yeah, why not? Switching over wasn't a problem. There was plenty of videos on YouTube to help along. All went well, and I was very impressed with the way the HICTOP performed, although a bit freaked out by how quiet it was. A couple of weeks ago I started to have issues with the y-axis shifting during prints. It was intermittent. Some prints would have issues, some not. Scratching my head there. This led me to think it might be a mechanical fault on the y-axis components. So I disassembled the bed and the carriage, rebuilt to ensure everything was screwed down tight. I replaced a tooth pulley on the y-axis motor, checked the current settings in Marlin for the motor. This was set to 600 milliamps. Checked all the measurements of the rails relative to the bed to ensure the bed was not binding as it travelled. Re-sliced everything. Checked the G-code files in the slicer layer by layer. The problem remained intermittent. So if it wasn't a mechanical fault, it must be the controller. Oh dear. I knew I shouldn't have changed boards. Anyway, the new board is Big Tree Tech SKR version 1.3 and it uses Big Tree Tech TMC 2130 drivers. I already knew that if you rotate a motor it will produce a current, so I've always been very careful at the end of a print to pull the bed to the front of the machine to get the print slowly, as on YouTube everybody said they are very sensitive. So thinking this might be the problem, I sent an email to Big Tree Tech asking if it was necessary to add some diodes into the motor circuit. They replied these were already built into the TMCs, so it looked as if it could be the SKR 1.3. So before I start unwiring everything and taking the risk of wiring it up wrong again, I do have a spare SKR 1.3. I bought two at the same time. So the easiest thing to do was to disable the stealth chop feature on the y-axis TMC. I took a look at Marlin's site, and this has in its list M569 code. So I tried this in terminal mode in Octoprint and checked the result on the printer's display by drilling down the Marlin menus. So I started a print and immediately went into Octoprint terminal mode and entered M569 space S0 space Y, all capitals. I checked the printer's display and it did indeed show stealth chop mode for Y to be off. I can do it quite easily with software. Success, the print ran without any issues. So I ran print after print, all without issues. So looks as if stealth chop could be the problem. It was at this point I realised that this M569 could be inserted into the starting script of the G-code. Then I wouldn't have to do it every time I started a print. As I use Simplify 3D for slicing, it was a simple matter of adding this to the start script setting for each profile. Obviously I could go into the Marlin software and adjust the settings for the stepper drivers and then re-upload to the SKR 1.3. Or I could actually just swap out the TMC. That'd be the easiest thing. But being a bit on the tight side, I want to get as much as I can out of the existing one. Also, I will, as a matter of urgency, change the ending script in Simplifies 3D to park the bed at plus 220 at the end of a print, this being as far forward as the bed will go. Currently, when it finishes a print, it homes the y-axis and the x, so the bed goes to the back of the machine. So obviously you pull it forwards to get hold of the print, and that's what creates back voltage. Back voltage is when a motor is rotated by hand, such as when you push the extruder along the x-axis or pull the bed along. This causes a voltage to be produced, even when the printer is not powered on, and of course it travels back through all the circuitry. I have an idea that I might start to look at how diodes can be used and how to specify the correct size and how I would incorporate them into the wiring. It can rattle around in my head for a bit, and when I've got some spare time during lockdown, start implementing that. Anyway, the takeaway from this is the stepper drivers are very sensitive to back voltage, so be careful. But you'll get round to it once you've disassembled and rebuilt your machine thinking it might be mechanical. Yeah, check out the Marlin website. It has a complete list of G-codes supported, and the one you'd be interested in is M569. Coming up shortly, just waiting for the parts to arrive from China, I'm going to change the white carriage and the heated bed assembly, and change the X-axis bearings which hold the X-axis rails. I actually discussed that in one of my previous videos, number 10, Z wobble. So a couple of years later I'm going to get round to it. Anyway, good luck and careful with those steppers, eh?